Hey Pisceans, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your second half of April general reading here. So, in your meditation, I immediately felt some anxiety. Then I saw an image of the high priestess coming in, and I heard the words that your emotions are there to inform you, not overwhelm you, and to take inspiration and spend time with fire signs or the element of fire itself. So, fire is about transformation. And when I think about it, feels like we want to talk about looking to the strengths of the fire signs or those with prominent fire placement or, attributes of the fire signs for inspiration and to kind of like take a chip off their block and go, okay. So when I think about the strengths of fire signs, they run on an alignment. When a fire sign is in alignment, right? Because fire can burn. They are largely guided by their instinct, right? They have a feeling, a gut feeling about something, and they act on it. They move it. They're very spontaneous, right? Sort of the gift of being able to do that is being spontaneous is an active way to really live in the present moment. And that's something that I'm picking up for you guys. I feel like this feeling of anxiety that I'm picking up on, and that your feelings are there to inform you, not overwhelm you. Usually when anxiety occurs, and of course it's different for, different situations and people, right? But usually when anxiety occurs, it's usually about the future, something to do with the unknown, or feeling a need to, or desire, which is very human, to control a certain outcome or for things to be a certain way, or fear that they won't be a certain way, or whatever have you. So a beautiful tonic to combat some of that is, again, living in that present moment and knowing that everything that exists in time and space in all directions, right? Past, future, present, exists in the present. Right? So what you do right now is going to affect your future. So if you are transporting yourself, whether mentally, energetically, emotionally, whatever, into the future or into the past, that's knocking you out of the present time. However, if you fully embody your now moment, and this is it's such a, we know this, right? We've heard this before. Like, this is not like something that's really like news at 9, but it is. It's a struggle for human beings to do this. Absolutely, for sure. But the more that we can work at it, it's just like going to the gym. The more work we put in, the more results we're going to see, right? So if you are able, the more you are able to just remind yourself to come back into the present moment, you're able to heal yourself, right? And heal any feelings that feel out of whack in the future and in the past. Because time is fluid, as we know, so your present affects both the future and the past. It's a bit trippy. It's like, whoa, like, what in the Star Trek Enterprise are we talking about here? But I feel like that's coming up for you, and I'm hearing to like really look to the fire signs in your life, or look to those who feel like fire signs in terms of they feel an instinct, they're spontaneous, they kind of go with the moment, they're in the feeling, they're just really moving off of like, I feel like doing this. Anyone who's like, I feel like taking a road trip today, or like, I feel like calling in today and just like watching movies at home, or hey, I feel like trying this new route, whatever that is. Really notice that. There's something important about that, because I feel like that's going to be a huge tonic for you for the second half of April. Allowing yourself to be spontaneous and actively in the present moment, really following those gut feelings, and remembering that any anxiety or feelings that don't feel, quite pleasant, are maybe could act as a signifier for you to just step, that maybe you've popped out of the present moment, and an invitation to step back into the present moment. We can look at it like that. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what your cards say. Hey Pisceans, let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is for the second half of April here. Let's see what's going on for Pisces. Second half of April. I will say it's really feeling quite, it's a funny word, but it feels a bit slippery. The cards feel a bit slippery. We have dolphin on the bottom here, which is beautiful water energy. Dolphin is very much about being in the present moment as well. So I feel like that's an extra message for you. I'm really hearing any way that you ground yourself is going to be highly medicinal for you for the second half of April. Grounding thyself feels very, very important. Now, fascinating here. We have the hawk. So the hawk is like a 2 of wands energy, fire energy here coming up, which is really interesting, even though technically the hawk is associated with air. So 2 of wands is very much about, well, wands in general, about the actions that you do or don't take, right? Usually around the work that you love or your interpersonal relationships that inspire you, right? 2 of wands is very much about making slow and steady progress, but it's really about an eye towards planning and getting all of your ducks in a row, as it were. It's not necessarily about forward action, right? And then we have hawk medicine here, which speaks about being able to see the big picture and the smaller points and details at the same time and equally as well. So it's about how you see things, right? Hawk medicine is a lot about perspective. So it's interesting that it's coming up here in this way. And then when we also think about bird medicine, right, we're feeling deep feelings, right? I'm feeling that for y'all. And then we have bird medicine coming saying, but what if we looked at it from a higher view? What if we, took a bird's eye view, an aerial aspect, and gained some perspective in doing so, right? Let's just sit above those emotions so that we can observe them, understand them, and thus we don't have to be overwhelmed by them, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and see what's going on for Pisces. Right. So we have the King of Cups here. So yeah, watery. So the King of Cups this is really lovely in a way, because the King of Cups is very emotionally balanced, right? Out of all the, court cards that are water, of all the water keys in general, he is the goal, right? King of Cups is the goal. If only we could all, embody more of a King of Cups energy around how we feel, the world would be a much different place. And therapists would be largely out of work, perhaps. But King of Cups, I'm playing mostly, but the King of Cups is very much about that emotional maturity, that emotional intelligence, being able to, very much like what we were just saying here with the hawk, being able to be present in your emotions through a place of observation, right? Which is a bit different from his counterpart, the Queen of Cups, who is so deeply intuitive and emotional and wonderful, but she is quite overwhelmed by her emotions, right? King of Cups doesn't have that issue though. Do you see how there's the cup or the goblet down here, and then he's kind of like drawing the energy up from it and harnessing it into a sphere? He's harnessing the power of his emotions here while standing on earth, right? So this is a powerful image for you, I feel like. Again, I want to go back to what I heard initially, in that your emotions are here to inform you, not overwhelm you. All right. What else is going on? The King of Cups is always more cups. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. So 6 of Cups, I love how this is shown in this deck. This is probably my favorite depiction of 6 of Cups I've ever seen. So 6 of Cups, this is very much about nostalgia, but it's about the past. Now, do you remember when we were talking about, too much emphasis on the past or the future knocks you out of that present moment? And then we have the past key coming up here. This is also about remembering the past in a better or worse light than it actually was. But I really love that you're getting this right now, because do you see how it's depicted here with this woman here who's looking in the mirror and seeing the image of herself? I feel like this is another aspect of your advice about looking at yourself and staying present with what you see in the now moment in the mirror, right? There's an introspective energy here about looking within yourself and going, okay, I am not my feelings, but I also have complete power around my choices and how I choose to spend my time. But I keep getting this image of like a horse, like harnessing a horse, or what would that be? Harnessing? It's sort of like a horse that a horse that is emotional. Like I'm seeing a water horse basically, and you're harnessing that power to your will and going like, I can ride this horse of my own emotions. And I feel like also this may not even necessarily be all about you. For the second half of April, it could very much be about your given circumstances and your surroundings as well. People around you being very emotional. And you're going to pick up on that because Pisces are very empathic. Very, very so empathic. So the fact that you're getting this with the Six of Cups as well, I'm really hearing to do you as well, and really take care to get your own needs met, whatever that may look like as well. But this is a beautiful self-care key in this context. Water, King of Cups with the Six of Cups. Again, grounding yourself as well. She's standing in the middle of the woods, okay? Which is a wonderful way to get grounded. Wow. 5 of Cups. It's just, I told you, it's like, it's real watery though. 5 of Cups, you've got your Pisces self here with the 2 fish. So now this is fascinating because remember how we talked about perspective with the hawk medicine? 5 of Cups is the perspective key, right? 5 of Cups is about where you place your focus and your experience being the direct result of where your focus is, right? So this is about, are you focusing on, what you wish were different or what isn't working? Or are you focusing on what is working and what you had to be grateful for? So whenever this comes up, we're looking at the need to shift our perspective for the better. The key to that, the way into doing that, I have found, is through gratitude. So the more that you place your focus on what is good, right? On what you had to be grateful for, right? Giving thanks, being appreciative. That is the way into a shift of perspective that can absolutely change everything. Because a lot of the times when we feel askew, we're feeling overwhelmed, we feel anxious, we're feeling, unhappy, whatever it is, a shift in perspective is the quickest and best way through those feelings on the other side to emotional equilibrium, right? I feel like that's what we're looking at here. Do you see how these 2 fish are like flying outside, like they're flying out of here, and the dove is coming down? The dove is a symbol of, spirit and divine love. This is really interesting because I know you guys, are associated with the fish, but I really keep getting this strong feeling that like it's really about embracing the other elements. Like the water doesn't feel like it's necessarily your friend with this current energy that I'm picking up on. So again, it's about grounding yourself, taking your cues from some of those fire sign attributes that are more positive. And then also I'm feeling the air as well in terms of like being able to be objective and observe your emotions. When we are able to observe our emotions, which can be so difficult, but when we are able to observe them, we suddenly have power and, faculties that we don't if we're just being an experiencer, right? So I'm feeling like you're being an experiencer. There's, that energy around this. But I'm really feeling like be an observer as opposed to an experiencer for second half of April. What are cups? Are you serious? The King of Swords to clarify the King of Cups. I'm so here for this. So King of Swords is the observer. Like this is so beautiful. It's exactly what we're talking about. He's able to observe everything. Now he's not a deep feeler, okay? But these two like coming together for your energy, this is beautiful because this is emotional balance and equilibrium with high observation and a keen perception, right? You see that sword there? And then he's like just harnessing it to his will. And then we've got this guy over here harnessing the water. That's what it is. Observe your emotions. That's pop into that observer state. That's what I'm getting. Wow. 6 of Cups. This is something else, Pisces. Oh my God, I can't. It's fascinating, this reading. So Queen of Swords, the King of Swords, you get the Queen of Swords to clarify the Six of Cups. Now let's talk about this Queen. Okay, this is my Queen. I'm an air sign. So Queen of Swords is a really great editor. She's no BS. She's also is not a deep feeler, but she's able to see through the illusions that other people create. And what's fascinating that it's coming up in this context is that, remember, we said that the Six of Cups is about remembering the past in a better or worse light than it actually occurred. And it's really about allowing yourself to be in the present moment. The Queen of Swords doesn't remember anything in a better or worse light than it actually occurred. She doesn't care about the past. She's all about what's in front of her and making necessary edits, right? She's that has that sword, and she's going, you know what? I'm not really concerned about your feelings or how they're going to feel about this or what they're going to think about me. All I'm really concerned about is efficiency and having everything fair and clear and organized. So that's interesting that it's coming up with this Six of Cups here. And I feel like that's also advice for you with borrowing this Swords energy. Again, back to that observation, but also this is asking you to really be discerning about what and or who, and aspects of you included in this, in your environment are not aligned with, well, how do I say this? Mental health and emotional stability. Okay, she's asking you what can go, what can you cut out, what can you shift? When you look in the mirror and you really ask yourself these hard questions, what comes up and what can you release? What edits can you make around this? And I want to say, because I'm feeling this, like you have a lot more power around the energies at play than you may feel like you do. And oh my God, right as I said that, you got the Magician, which is all about your personal power. Okay, I can't, but I will. The Magician, to clarify the Five of Cups, this is all about as above, so below. You absolutely have everything that you need inside of you to manifest your desired reality. This is about shifting your perspective yet again, but this speaks of shifting your perspective through the sheer force of your own will, right? This is that highly masculine energy of picking yourself up by your bootstraps and going, you know what, a little less of this cup action. I'm going to grab onto this wand and this sword and work it out. That's what it feels like. It feels like fire and air along with the earth, which is asking you to ground yourself. But fire and air are your friends. The Magician. You know, it's interesting. This is your only major arcana that you've gotten. Remember, major arcanas are about fated or destined events. The minors, if there's anything that you see that you don't like, you can change it through your choices, right? But your major is the Magician, which is about bringing you back to reminding you of your own inherent power, right? That's what this is. Let's go ahead and get an oracle for y'all. Oracle for Pisces. That's really weird. So do you see the way that these two are lined up? How this guy's, the king is looking this way and the queen is looking this way, which is a mirror image of each other. And then it's the mirror. Yeah, there's something about the reflection and how you see things that feels a bit distorted, or that could use, you know, a little bit more fiery and air energy in terms of like seeing things clearly outside of your emotions. Okay, let's get Oracle. Amazing. Okay. Oh, weird. So this is on the bottom. I feel like it's for you. Okay, let's start here. So the Chess Queen, trust, strategizing, number 30. So the Chess Queen is very much about, you know, coming from a place of, yes, strategy, but also, you know, this is a big air energy. This is about knowing what you're doing, being a few steps ahead of the game, knowing, you know, your placement around things, having an eye. It's kind of related to hawk energy. It's about kind of having an eye around your goals and where you're going. But I feel like there's something about this that's sort of commenting on, especially with the trust. I feel like there's an aspect of this, and I'm hearing the words, allow yourself to be moved. Allow yourself to be moved. And what I'm getting with the chess queen as well is chess, the game of chess, it doesn't work in linear lines. There's the whole method to it, right? About how pieces move across the chessboard. And I'm hearing that this time for you is not necessarily linear. So the more that you desire it to be that way, the more dissatisfied you're going to be. So kind of trusting that, things don't, well, and rarely go in a straight line. So allow yourself to be, moved in whatever way you feel guided to be moved, from a place of, air energy with the observation and the discernment, and the fire energy of allowing your instincts to fuel you from a place of spontaneity and passion. I'm also hearing with this to really spend time doing things that really excite you and take you out of any kind of overfeeling or even overthinking, really. Anything that feels extreme, let's bring it back to the balance of just a little bit more enjoyment. What do you do when you look up and the time has flown? I'm really hearing to kind of allow yourself the time to just whatever it takes to get you back into that present moment. Feels incredibly important. The chess queen as well, with the trust and the strategizing and the number 3, there's an aspect here of balance as well. And I feel like you are being called to also quite literally trust the process and trust that all of this energy is going on for a greater purpose of bringing you to a place of equilibrium so that you can be, as best you can, fully seated in a position of your own power and autonomy for what is coming next. But it feels a bit askew. It feels a bit wobbly. It's okay. It's all happening. Trust that it's all happening within a greater divine strategy to place you in a better position. You might have to move around the board a bit. Then we have the Lady of the Mirror. So we have the mirror here. Lady of the Mirror, reflection, non-judgment. Reflection, non-judgment. I feel like these are very wise words for you, Pisces. And this is, reflection is all right. Non-judgment is always a good idea. But it's the difference between, if you look at your reflection, right, you can't actually be touching the water. Because once you actually touch it and succumb to it, then the image is distorted. Again, it's another way of saying, observe, just be right outside of, so that you can have a greater understanding. Again, it's about being the observer and not the experiencer. I feel like that is the key and the ticket for y'all for second half of April. All right, Pisceans, you've absolutely got this. I so hope this helped and resonated. If so, please do let me know in the comments below. I absolutely love reading through your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would so appreciate it if you could go on and hit that like button. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. And as always, and most of all, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.